Welcome back everyone to the Hello World Guy, and this is episode number 22 of the first person shooter series. And I think that this series is going to last for around like 30 episodes, and in this video we are going to do something really interesting, which is that we are going to start adding an enemy to our game, which currently does not exist. So I'm going to just select my player and move it back a bit so that we can add in an enemy here. So for the enemy, what I'm going to do is, first of all, let's just duplicate the player, I guess. Okay, let's just do that. Alright, let's don't do that. Let's go under prefabs, and then let's just duplicate the player and rename this prefab as enemy. Enemy, come on. Well, that's a bit weird. I just call it enemy. Alright, then open up this enemy in here, and you can see that is what it looks like. It's combining the shaders, that's why it's looking all blue. Just remove the player script from this and leave the character controller on. Then remove the main camera and the weapon, and then we got this capsule. Now we are going to have a bunch of different types of enemies. This one is going to be just something really basic. It's going to just chase the player, and then we are going to add an enemy that can shoot as well, and then maybe a flying enemy as well. So these are the 3 enemy ideas I've got right now. If you've got some cool ideas that you would like me to implement, then let me know that in the comments down below. Alright, so first thing that we can do now is we can go in outside, and then let's drag our enemy in here. Now let's move it up, and the problem here that I want to fix is that currently, even though our enemy does work and everything is fine, it has a little bit of problem that he can't exactly see where he's facing. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my enemy, and I'm going to alright, and let's just add in a 3D cube here, I guess. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this cube down on the Y, down on the Z and X as well. Then I'm going to go to the front view and make sure that it's at the top, in the right view. Make orthographic, make it like this, and in the top view I'm going to just scale it a little bit down on the X. And now if I turn off this and then I take a look, you can see that looks pretty awesome. By the way, I think I need to move it back a little bit, it's a bit too much, and then reduce the thickness as well. Awesome. Now we are going to go under materials, and I'm going to duplicate the player material for the enemy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just change the color of the enemy to something like reddish, then drag this onto this, or let's just actually rename, alright, let's just keep it like that. Okay, so now let's just select this, and also right click and create a new material here called black, because this material is going to be absolutely black. Let's go ahead and make it like completely black, and then put that in here. Now I think the enemy material is looking pretty cool, but I would like to not make it that colored that it's got right now. Instead I am just going to put it at this kind of color, which is pretty awesome. Maybe a little darker would look nice. And also make sure that there is no emissiveness in here, and then go back, and you can see that our enemy looks like this. Now I'm going to, of course, the one thing that we want to change is that we want to make sure that our enemy actually can behave. So that is why we are going to create an enemy script now, and try attach it to this, and then put all of our enemy functionality into that. We will get more to the actual making different kind of enemies easier, modular, as we add more enemy types, but for now we are going to just do it all in a single script. Alright, so for that, what I'm going to do is just go under the scripts folder, right click and create a new folder here called enemy, and then open that up, and then create a new script here. Currently it's going to only contain one script, which is going to be an enemy script. And then just take this enemy script and make sure that our enemy does have it. So go under enemy and add in an enemy component, enemy. Okay, it's still compiling, that's the reason it's not showing up there, but once it has compiled, you should be able to go ahead and use add component here to add the enemy script. And then of course make sure you go to overrides and apply all of them. Alright, that's great. So now what we need to do is that we need to kind of make it so that we can actually go ahead and do stuff. So that means that our enemy can actually have some functionality. So let's just go and try to edit our enemy script for that. Alright, so here you can see that we have got our enemy script opened up. Just remove the unused using tags, no pun intended, and I'm going to remove these as well. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a serialized field here, which is going to be a private float, let's say, called vision, or yeah, let's just call it field of view, and this is going to be by default something like 90, which just make a lot of sense. And now what we want to also do is we want to have a private player here called player, and we want to add in a start method in here, in which we will just set our player is equal to not get component player is equal to find object of type player. Alright, and then okay, we are also going to just leave it at that, and then just add in an update method in which we are going to check if player is not equal to null. And let's actually do it this way: if player let's say if player is equal to null, then return. And then now what we want to do is we want to basically make it so that we can actually detect the angle between the enemy and the player, and if that enemy is within not the FOV, then we are going to do something like scene. So we are going to add in a private bool called scene is equal to false, and then if we are going to just add in if statement in here. I'm going to put true in here, we will fix that later, and if that is true, then we are going to set scene is equal to true. So what do we want to do in here? Well, we want to basically check if the player angle, the angle between this object, the enemy, and the player is within this FOV. So how exactly are we going to do that? Well, the first thing I want to say, if we want to say not seen, because we don't want to execute this all when if we are seeing the player, and then we are going to say vector3 dot angle, and give it two vectors. The first one, it needs to be player dot transform dot position minus transform dot position. Actually, what we can do is we can change this player to be a transform instead, and then what we should be able to do is that we should be able to say dot transform, and that should allow us to not use this and instead do it this way. And then we need to give it transform dot forward for the 2 vector, and this should calculate the correct angle, and we want to make sure that this angle is less than or equal to our FOV by 2, because it also has it on the both sides, so that's the reason we want to use divided by 2 here. And if all of those conditions are correct, then what we are going to do is we are going to basically just set scene is equal to true. And if scene is equal to true, then we are going to just say let's say debug.log come on, not exception, just log hi. That's pretty awesome. So let's go under Unity and let it compile, and let's see if our divided by 2 trick actually works, because I'm not quite sure if you were supposed to divide it or not, but let's see. So currently I'm going to make sure that our enemy, select that, and make sure it has got an FOV of exactly 90. Now make sure that you keep an eye on this here. It should display it in the console when it starts to say hi. So what I'm going to do is, currently I'm facing away and it currently does not say hi. I'm going to move, and I'm going to keep moving until I am like 90 degrees, and it still doesn't say hi. And if I move really close, then it does say hi, which means that it's not exactly working the way it's supposed to, which means that we might need to change it a little bit, so that well, I think that you don't need to divide it by 2 after all. Alright, so this should actually work now. This is going to of course work perfectly, I guess, because it should. And yeah, that seems like it would work. So let's go under Unity, go to full screen mode and hit play, and let's see how well it actually works. So once the game starts, what you should be able to see is that I can actually move and I can go in front, and you can see it starts to say hi down there, and that's pretty awesome. So in the next video we will add more functionality to our enemy, like making it chase us around. So I will see you in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for the next one, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.